Yerong aluminum. Basta Yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Mainit at makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa sports, kumpleto yan dito sa Power and Play. Mula sa mga paborito at naglalakihang atleta hanggang sa mga natatanging Pinoy sports figures na dapat nyong makilala. Ihahatid yan dito sa Power and Play.
Bangon na! Power and Play na! Bangon na! Pilipinas tayo na!
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo. Ipag-iwang natin ang Pilipino.
Yan ang Pinoy!
Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ng bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbeshi, Bay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino. Sa Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy.
Power and Play was brought to you by Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, love your journey. Photon, empowering the Filipino business. Joyride, ang inyong bagong kasundo. And N Plus Gold, tanda ng pagmamahal.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin ang laro. Gusto mo, pag-usapan natin, ibida ang hilig ng bawat Pilipino na merong taglay na galing. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Power and Play. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Pilipinas tayo na, bangon na. Power and Play na, bangon na. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na.
Carlos Yulo with 2 gold medals.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Isang breakthrough sa Berlin. Naku po, yan ang ating headline story na pangpagising sa bayan ngayon pong umaga sa mundo ng tennis. At ating pong pag-uusapan yan kasama ng iba pang balita sa inyong paboritong kasalo tuwing Sabado. Kaya bangon na! Power and Play na! Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Nagbabalik po tayo dito sa TV5 Media Center para sa inyong Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Photon, Joyride at ng N Plus Gold. Naku ang ganda ng balitang gumising po sa atin ngayong araw pong ito. Pagkatapos ng halos midnight na, no? Hating gabi na po nung nagsimula yung laban ng ating pambato at Philippine Tennis Pride na si Alexandra Iyala nang siya po ay nanalo doon sa Berlin Open quarterfinals kontra sa top 10 player in the world, si Elina Svitolina. Tinalo po niya in straight set sa kahapon po, 6-3, 6-4 para makapasok po sa kanyang kauna-unahang WTA 500 semifinals. Pambihirang accomplishment na naman para kay Alex Iyala na ngayon ay naghahabol po ng isang magandang seeding patungo sa Wimbledon. At yan po ay ating pag-uusapan. Siyempre, kasama po ng iba pang mga paksa na inyo pong inaabangan. Kasama na dyan ang pagiging kampyon ng Barangay Ginebra at ng New York Knicks sa PBA at sa NBA. Pero syempre, hindi po kompleto ang ating usapan kung hindi ko po kasama ang ating partner and the man for all seasons, si partner Jera Season. Magandang umaga, partner.
Good morning, partner. Good morning po sa inyo lahat. Sa lahat ng mga nanonood at nakikinig sa buong mundo.
Yon.
Dahil ang nangyari kanina ay talagang it's a world news event.
Oo.
Pagkapanalo ni ating kababayan na si Alex Ayala.
Grabe.
Talagang ang ganda na paggising ko. Actually, partner, sabi ko nga, medyo under the weather ako ng konti.
Oo nga.
Kaya humahabol ako ng tulog. Pero paggising ko kanina madaling araw, chinek ko agad. Aba? Nanalo na naman.
Kababalagan.
Kababalagan.
Totoo ba to? Pero ito po mga kapatid, talagang minsan hindi kayo makakapaniwala sapagkat ang mga tinalo ni Alex patungo po dito sa semifinals noong pong round of 16, yung world number 2, si Elena Rybakina ng Kazakhstan.
Yes.
Pagkatapos nun, ito naman kagabi, ang tinalo niya, isa na namang Elina Svitolina. Anong number yan?
Number 6.
Number 6 sa mundo. Aba!
At ang susunod na makakalaban niya,
Si Linda Noskova. Mga kapatid, ha?
number 8.
Yan, kita mo.
Pababa ng pababa.
Hindi, kaya alam mo, pagka tinalo mo yung number 2, medyo yung kumpiyansa mo. Hindi natin sinasabing madali ito, ha? Ang sinasabi lang natin, syempre, ito yung nagbibigay ng kumpiyansa sa ating player na si Alex.
Actually, partner, idagdag ko lang yung salita mong sinabing kumpiyansa. Parang malaking bagay yung nag-champion siya nung huling tournament niya eh.
Sa Birmingham.
Sa Birmingham
Open.
sa
Pero
UK.
WTA 125
Pero
yun.
still, yung parang yung kanyang confidence nag-level up eh.
Alam mo ba, partner, ngayon, si Alex po sa grass court, ay 9-1 ang record. Isang beses pa lang siya natatalo nung second round, nung sinalihan niyang huling tournament, no? Pero, ika nga, tuloy-tuloy ang kanyang magandang ipinapakita. Alam mo, may kausap ako na isang, ayoko na lang sabihin, eksperto sa tennis na coach at naging national player. Ang sabi niya po, mga kapatid, ang grass, ang pinakamabilis na surface. Sa lahat po ng mga surfaces sa tennis.
Dahil sa Birmingham, clay yata no?
Hindi, grass din.
Grass din ba?
Grass na yan, Ang mga surfaces, mga kapatid, dun sa mga hindi nakakaalam, hard court, yan yung ginagamit sa US Open at kung saan-saan pa, kasi yan ang madaling itayo. Sumunod po yung clay na nilalaro naman dun sa French Open, na yun naman yung mabagal. At yung ito po ang grass, ang pinaka daw mabilis at hindi lang mabilis, wala daw parehong talbog ang bola dito. Kasi nga, damo na tumutubo to
hindi
di ba?
mo alam
Hindi mo alam kung saan tutubo at dumudulas, slippery when wet.
Wow.
Di ba? Kaya talagang dumudulas ang bola, mga kapatid. Kaya dito daw, yung laro ni Alex, talagang akma-akma sa grass. Dahil kailangan daw, unang-una, flat ang palo. Hindi yung mga may mga topspin. Hirap daw talaga dito yung mga mahihilig magpa-pectus. Except, of course, yung mga drop shot, di ba? Pero, pagdating ng bola, kaya yung palo ni Alex daw, ang ganda, flat, at napakababa niya sa lupa. Talagang she stays low in the ground. Dahil ang talbog ng bola daw dito, hindi masyadong tumataas. Kaya, makikita nyo po, madalas tumatama sa tape ng net eh. Kasi ang bola talaga, saktong-sakto lang yan. And Alex has been able to measure her shots very well dito sa nagaganap na Berlin Open.
Partner, dahil sinabi mo na may nakausap kang eksperto na tennis player. Meron rin ako nakausap.
Yan! Ay, lolo mo yan. Hindi lolo mo
may
yan.
nakausap din ako. Galing pa sa Amerika.
Aba?
Oo.
Aba?
Na used to really play tennis. No? Pero ngayon, nakakuha na siya sa States. Siguro kakilala mo to dahil atinista to, si Alma Tute, no? Ng Malabon. But he told me na talagang binabantayan niya to si Alex Ayala. And sabi niya, she improved a lot. Mas lalo na, sabi niya nga, according to him, si Alex now has one of the best return serve sa WTA tour. Kumbaga, pag nag-serve yung kalaban, nababalik niya agad, kulang ng reaksyon yung nag-serve.
Correct.
Yun raw ang talagang nakita niyang malaking improvement ni Alex Ayala.
Tama. And I agree totally with that. In fact, tinanong siya dyan noong nanalo siya kay Rybakina, how does it feel that you are one of the best serve returners in the game against the best server in the game, si Rybakina. Pinakamagandang service. In fact, si Rybakina had so many aces. Sabi lang ni Alex, you play with grace, you give yourself grace, but you play brave. Matapang, hindi ka pwedeng umatras, hindi ka pwedeng masindak. Ika nga. Ganon din ang nangyari kay Svitolina kahapon, partner. Alam mo, lumamang po si Alex sa second set. Nanalo na siya ng first set. Lumamang siya ng 5-2. Di ako naman medyo gumaganyan na ako.
Para lang chiquito.
Kaming buong pamilya nanonood Aba, humabol 5-3. Humabol 5-4. Na-break pa si Alex. So, balik kay Alex ang serve. And she needed that because kung hindi, baka nga makabalik pa yung Svitolina. Alam mo ba, partner, na talagang yung kanyang tapang ang ipinakita niya? Down 0, love 30 na naman siya. Nilapitan niya yung coach niya. Ewan ko kung anong binulong sa Kastila. Pero talagang it worked. Bumalik si Alex. At yung huling point, grabe. Yun ang talagang walang takot na cross-court winner na hindi, yung mga ganong palo, pagka hindi ka matapang at hindi ka kumpiyansa, talagang mamimintis mo yun.
Alam mo, idagdag ko lang dyan. Siguro malaking bagay yung kanyang pag-train sa Nadal Academy. Dahil, di ba, yung aggressiveness niya, Nadal na Nadal Di ba? Talagang,
may dating na Nadal.
May dating na Nadal na talagang all out siya, di ba?
Walang takot.
Hindi katulad nung, di ba, nakikita natin sila Djokovic dati, parang easy lang si Nadal parang talagang
Tsaka yung kanyang mga mannerism, di ba?
Di ba?
Si Rafael Nadal. Well, partner, isa pa nag-improve of course kay Alex is her service.
Yeah.
Against Svitolina, she had 8 aces. Rather against Rybakina. Ngayon, itong larong ito, nakatatlo si Alex. But look at this, sa first serve niya, 50.9% ang kanyang first serve points won. At dun sa, first serve niya, yung sabihin niyan, kalahati ng kanyang mga serve, actually, di pa nga maganda nung laban kay Rybakina, mas mataas pa. Pero first serve points won, almost 80%, partner. Pag pumasok yung kanyang unang serve, halos 80% panalo siya. Ganon na kaganda yung kanyang nagiging. Hindi naman lumalakas ng sobrang-sobra katulad ni Rybakina, pero eksakto sa mga linya. Kaya nakakatuwa po ang development ni Alex Ayala. And mamaya po ang kanyang makakalaban ay si Linda Noskova ng Czechoslovakia. Czech Republic. Aba, ito'y nakaharap na niya at natalo si Alex dyan. Na-bagel pa siya dyan, yung 6-2-6 love yan, partner.
Saan yan? That was March 11, 2026.
Indian Wells.
Indian Wells.
Pero yan, partner, hard court. So iba po itong laban na to, nakaharapin ni Alex dahil ito ay grass court. Kaya yung mga nagsasabing nako, delikado. Well, lahat naman ng bagay. At that level, halos pantay-pantay na ang galing. Nakikita naman natin yan, di ba? Yung ang Bartukova, yung munting nang talunin si Sabalenka kahapon, lamang na siya. First set nanalo, lamang na siya 4-0 doon sa second. Hinabol pa ni si Balenque, mga kapatid. Kaya at this level, pantay-pantay na po yan. Pero ang ating pong inaasahan, yung ipinapakitang tapang ni Alex dito sa Berlin Open.
Kita ninyo, ayan ang kung sino manalo sa kanilang dalawa ni Alex Ayala at saka Noskova, ang makakalaban nila, mabigat din yan.
Sabalenka o Pegula. Pareho na kalaban na ni Alex yan. At medyo hindi maganda naging resulta. Kaya again, hindi po natin but pagbunyi po natin ang pambihirang nagawa ng ating kababayang si Alex Ayala at ating pong panoorin mamayang gabi, alas 8 po ng gabi, ang laban ni Alex kontra kay Linda Noskova para sa finals, para makapasok ng finals ng Berlin Open.
Ayan inuulit ko, sinabi ni partner Noli, alas 8 ng
gabi.
Tapos na po ang PBA Finals. Tapos na po ang NBA Finals. Ito, wala tayong rason na hindi pwedeng panoorin mamaya yan.
Magandang laban yan.
Oh.
Pinag-uusapan ang laban at ang PBA Finals, mga kapatid. Partner, alam naman natin, congratulations sa Barangay Ginebra sa kanilang pagkakapanalo ng championship sa Game 7 kontra TNT Tropang 5G. Pambihira din yung laging laro doon, partner. Masterful, of course, at the end of the day, talagang execution na lang sa tingin ko. Down the stretch.
At ang masasabi ko dyan, ano bang bagong parang battle cry ng PBA ngayon, di ba? Solid ang laban. Ito, sulit ang laban.
Sulit.
Game 7.
Game 7. 24,000 ang nanood.
Yes.
And online, 1.15 million views sa online, mga kapatid. So again, kami po dito, we support the PBA.
Yes, oo naman.
We want this to happen para sa PBA. And ang binabanggit ko nga sa lahat na nagtatanong, hindi lang po dahil popular ang Hinebra at ang TNT. It's the level of play
Correct.
na pinapakita. Maganda kasi ho yung basketball.
Yes.
Pag maganda ang laro, talagang papanoorin yan. Kahit rain or shine, pinapanood. Dahil ang ganda, Meralco. Ganyan po ang ating hinihiling. At talaga namang napakaganda ng ipinakita ng Barangay Hinebra Kings at ang kanilang kampyonato sa likod ng kanilang Hall of Fame coach na si Coach Tim Cone. At siya po ang ating itatampok sa ating unang segment dito sa What's the Score? And of course, si Tim Cone nanalo ng kanyang ika-26 na championship sa likod ng Game 7 victory kontra TNT. Nakapanayan po natin ang multi-titled coach ng Barangay Hinebra kagabi. Ha? Dahil medyo busy-busy yung tao. At ito po, 2 parts po to ang ating ipapakita sa inyo. Simulan po natin sa unang yugto ng Tim Cone interview dito po sa Power and Play.
Thanks so much, Tim, for joining us after a wonderful championship series. Of course, congratulations are in order. But there's no time for you to celebrate. What's going on there?
Well, I'll tell you what, wonderful is not a word I would use to describe that series. It was a tough series. It was really hard. One of the hardest that I've ever been at. When I've been in 40 plus now, and that really was one of the hardest series I've ever been a part of. And
I want to ask, I want to begin with that. I want to begin with that because I was looking it up. I don't know if I'm accurate, but that must have been at least your 15th Game 7, according to Google.
in the finals.
In the finals. No.
Overall.
I think overall.
Okay.
And you, prior to that, your record was 8-6. Now you're 9-6, obviously a winning record. But before that, you had 3 Game 7s, and that was against Meralco in the semis, and then TNT in the Commissioner's Cup last year, and then of course San Miguel in the semis again, where you lost in those 3 Game 7s before this huge win in Game 7 here in the Commissioner's Cup. So let me begin with this. What is the mindset of Tim Cone when he enters a Game 7? Now that you're probably the coach with the most number of Game 7s in the history of the PBA.
Yeah, 15 sounds a little light to me.
I
know
think
that
so too. I think it's a little bit
we went
less.
to a stretch where we had, because I remember it was correctly, we won like 9 out of 10 7-game series. And then we ran into that Morocco, that stretch you're talking about where we lost 3 in a row. And I'll be honest with you, that was really bothering me. You get to a point where you're winning a lot of them, so you feel like you have, a little secret sauce, a little, understanding how you're supposed to do it. Then you lose 3 in a row and you're saying, well, I guess I don't anymore. So then you start questioning yourself. But bottom line, I think for me, when I coach a Game 7, is the most important thing I try to remind myself is not to overcoach. Game 7s are always messy. 90% of them. You're never going to have a pretty win. Basically, you've come to Game 7. You've done all the adjustments you could do through the 6 games. You know each other back and forth. You're not going to throw any surprises out there. And the guys that you have on your team are worn out. They're worn out. They're not going to come out and have great shooting nights because they lost their legs or they got nagging injuries. So Game 7s normally, I would say 80-90% of them are messy games. So it's just one of those games where you just got to, it's a game of attrition. Just got to fight your way through it. Hope that your guys make big plays at the right time. Hope you guys don't panic at some point of the game when you fall behind. Just try to keep them thinking forward all the time, and not let the moment get too big. So that's basically what I'm trying to do in a Game 7.
Before this series, of course, you went through a ringer in rain or shine. It was only 6 games. but it felt like it was 7 games with the way.
Only 6 games.
Yeah. What was the biggest learning from that Rain or Shine series that you sort of helped you against TNT?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we always talk about that. When you have a so-called easy series before you play the next series, that doesn't prepare you at all. It kind of softens you up, and then you're playing a team that's coming in with a lot of momentum or a lot of fire, and then you don't meet that fire. I remember back in the day where I shouldn't, Never fans are not going to be happy about me reminding them of this, but we played in the semifinals against Ginebra, and I was
Uh-huh.
with Alaska,
Right.
and we swept them 4 games in a row. And on the other side, Pure Foods had gone through a 7 game series, and I can't remember, honestly, I can't remember who they beat, but they went through a 7 game series. And we sat there and waited for them, and we swept through the Never series, and then we turned around and played Pure Foods, and we just weren't prepared for them, and they swept
Mm,
us, and that's the only time I've ever been
mm,
swept uh, in a series. 4 games to 0 was in that finals appearance. It was against Alvin, that team with Alvin
right. Right.
Patamino, and Ryan Gregorio was the coach, and I'll never forget that. And um, so we always look at the previous series and say, if it's hard, then it's prepared us. And there was nothing harder than that Rain or Shine series. It was
Yeah.
physical. It was drawn out. They really put a lot of pressure on Justin to carry us. They ran a kind of a similar game plan that Talk and Text did to put the pressure on Justin to put us on his shoulder and win the series for us. So that kind of prepared us for that same kind of game plan when we went against Talk and Text. We
Yeah.
we we could see it happening, so we knew that we had to be able to handle that perspective. So that was tough. I mean, Yang's been in coaching as long as I. He came into the league a year after I did.
Right.
He's been in
Right.
the league for like 36 years.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for like 35 years. So
So he knows his
so
thing.
you know
Absolutely.
it. He
Yeah.
absolutely does,
Yeah.
and you can't hide anything from Yang. He's going to see it and figure it out. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you go into, of course, Chut with all of his experience and all of his knowledge of me personally and the international knowledge that he's had. It was a tough whole playoffs for us.
A tough whole month for you guys.
We haven't taken a day off.
I can
From the time
imagine.
between the start of the quarterfinals until now, at least I have not taken a day off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even take a day off after the championship. I had to go to practice the next day.
Absolutely.
First time in my career I've gone from a
No rest. No rest for the
final
weary,
appearance
Tim.
into a practice.
Well, you mentioned a while ago that you practically in a 7 game series like this, where you've been through so many of that with TNT, you know each other, very well, and it did look like that in this series. No team won back-to-back games in this series. You just made all of the adjustments, and at the end of the day, I felt it was all about execution in that game 7. I felt like it was their zone against your executing your plays down the stretch, and those big threes by Pinto and by RJ really broke their backs. Now, on the other hand, it was McCullough versus your entire defense. They were just playing the penalty situation as much as they could and getting to the line. But at the end of the day, again, it was defense. Tim, what ultimately for you tilted the game in your favor?
Well, I tell you, in a game 7 like that, there's that much separation, and I refer back to the last series that we went against Talk and Tex and Coach Chut. We were leading 3 games to 2. We lost game 6 by 3 points.
Right.
89-86, I think the score was, and then we turned around and lost in overtime
Right.
in game 7 by 3 points.
Right.
And I think it was same score, 89.
Yes, exactly the same score. Yeah.
And how much did that separate us from them? in that series. You know,
Yeah.
they made a big stretch. I think it was Coburn team made a big shot down the stretch that I remember correctly that put them into overtime, and then they were able to beat us in overtime. And so even this series is just so little separated. In fact, when I saw the final score later, I mean, after I got home, I realized what the final score was. We had won by 12 points.
Right.
And I'm going, my God, it seemed like it was a 1 or 2 point game that we won, not a 12-point game. I mean,
Yeah.
it was down the stretch. We were in doubt all the way down until the last minute or minute and a half.
Yeah.
And so there's such a small separation between, winning and losing those type of game sevens. We played the Dragons in our last championship in a game seven. I think, remember, it was 54,000 people in
Right.
Philippine Arena.
Philippine Arena, that's
Yeah,
right.
we played the Dragons, and we literally destroyed them. We blew them out. We beat them. We were up by, I think, 41 points at one time, and we ended up beating by 20-something points or whatever. It was never in doubt. And that was such a shock to me because I've never seen that happen before, where a team just comes out and blows out the other team. So
Right.
this is more the norm when you're separated by so little. One thing here or there that a player may do, a turnover, a big shot by Pinto, a big shot by Cobantine, and it's pretty much out of the coach's hands at that point.
Yeah, and it seemed like that. It seemed that way.
It's
I
not a
thought
coach's game. It's a player's game.
I thought at that point you and Chot were just really letting your players play, and whoever makes the big plays will win this game. So
Bahala
that
na.
seemed, yeah. Well, it wasn't really bahala.
That's
No,
what
I
it
mean,
felt like.
you
It
still
was
had
like, Bahala
that.
na. What will be, will be.
That big
That's
alley oop
oftentimes
to
the feeling
Scotty
you have in
Thompson.
game sevens.
Yeah. The big alley oop to Scotty Thompson. They defended JB very well in the final few minutes, but your locals stepped up, and certainly that gave you the win. I know you don't indulge in hypotheticals, Tim, but just give this to me. Hypothetically, if Manute Ball had played, how different would you have played TNT? Or would have it been the same way? You think that it would have been more comfortable? What do you think?
Well, I think, in all honesty, Bol was one of the most remarkable players I've ever been around or I've seen, or at least I got to coach against him in one game. And it was a non-bearing game, by the way. Individually, he was an absolute unicorn. I mean, they talked about him being a unicorn in the NBA. Obviously, he's going to be a unicorn in the PBA. I mean, 7'3", 7'4", handles the ball like a guard, really unstoppable around the paint. But because he was so unstoppable, and this kind of happened to us a little bit in this series because of the way Talking Tex was defending us. He was so unstoppable that he literally did everything offensively. And it's not that he meant it, but he kind of shut out the rest of his teammates.
Right.
So when Coach Chuck was complaining about their ability to shoot the ball, they weren't shooting well around Bobo because they didn't know when they were going to get their shots. They were not in rhythm. They ended up standing around and watching him a lot. And so I don't think, this is just my opinion because you're asking me, but I don't think they were a better team with Bobo. I thought they were a better team with McCullough. I mean, McCullough got everybody involved. He scored when he needed to. Pogoy played great. Oftana played great. Now, I must add that right before Bobo got injured, it looked like they were starting to turn the corner a little bit in terms of getting more players involved, and there was a little better rhythm. And maybe that would have translated more and more as the playoffs went along. But there was no guarantee they were going to beat Morocco with Bobo.
Right.
I don't think there was any guarantee there.
Right.
So,
and that was a
they
tight
won
one.
that big game off Filipino, and then they turned around. McCullough came in, and He played great, not in the first game, but in the second and the third game he played. And McCullough surprised me. I have to admit, he was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal. He was a tough matchup for us because he had too much size for Troy. He had too much speed and quickness for Japeth, and also for both Norbert and Isaac were a little undersized and a little bit too slow to guard him.
Right.
So really the only guy that could guard him was really Justin, but we couldn't leave Justin on him all the time with everything else that Justin was doing.
Yeah.
So he was a matchup nightmare for us, trying to figure out how to. And if we went and helped and did that, we opened up the shooters of Heading and Porgoy and Oftana. So he was a good fit for them.
Talking about Justin, you never wavered in your selection of JB. Obviously, you know his abilities. We know how great he is. In a conference where there were so many bigger players than him, what makes JB play bigger than his size, Tim?
Well, one thing for sure is that generally the other import, with those big imports, can't match up with Justin. That's really the case because they have to come out and play outside. It's a tough matchup when they have to get around screens. Justin can be very guard-like when he wants to. He can be very power forward-like when he wants to. He can even play the center position, and as he showed in the series, he can destroy you in the post with a smaller player. And so he is. We're talking about nightmare matchups.
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy in my career that I've not had to guard Justin. He's always been on my team. He's never been on the other team.
Yeah.
And I'm just so thankful that I don't have to try to figure him out. But so with the bigger imports, they can't match up to him. So it really goes to a local player guarding him.
Yeah.
And as you know, he is a mismatch to really any local in the league. There's no one that can really take him one-on-one.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he has always excelled in the bigger import conferences. In fact, most of his championships have come from the Commissioner's Cup, which is the big import, and only a couple have come from the the
Governor's Cup. Yeah.
Which is smaller. Because when the smaller imports come in, they can match up to him, and they can guard the ball game. So that limits him a little bit more.
So you've coached some of the best imports, Tim. Historically, where does Justin stand?
Again, we're gonna. A lot of people have been asking me this, and recently because now he's the winningest import now in the PBA history.
Just like you,
Sean Chambers by one championship. So. There's been so many great imports through the years, Billy Ray Bates, Tony Harris, and Norman Black, Bobby Parks, Sean Chambers. There's been a lot of great imports. I'm sure there's two or three that I'm not thinking about, and they all could be considered, the greatest of all time. It's like me. I feel Michael Jordan is undoubtedly the greatest of all time.
All right.
If you're a Laker, if you're from LA or from Cleveland, you might think it's Kobe, you might think it's LeBron James, you might go back in history and think it's Magic Johnson or Lou Alcindor or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, whoever. So it's really a personal preference when you talk about greatest of all time. But to me, Justin has to be considered the greatest of all time. The numbers he's put up now in this day and age where the players are much bigger, they're much more athletic, they can match up better. He's still putting up these gigantic numbers. The fact that he is by far the winningest import in the league right now, and I just don't see how you can vote against him.
Right.
But I'm sure people will. I'm sure there will be people who can come up with arguments, but for me, there is no argument at this point. He's the greatest of all time.
Well, I've always, my position has always been, it's really very hard to judge, as you said, but let's say, just enjoy their greatness, because all of them really brought a lot of different aspects
You
into the game. And it's a legacy. Definitely JB's at the top. I agree with you. And it'll be interesting if ever we start installing imports into the 50 or into the greatest players of the PBA. Obviously JB is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Let
and
me
you also have to kind of remember the Gila stuff that he's done for us as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
Playing
The
against
Asian Games
Latvia,
gold.
the shot against Saudi Arabia, beating New Zealand,
Yeah.
and he
The
has
game
been at
against
the
China.
forefront of
Oh,
all that
wow.
stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to a local. RJ Barrientos, a best player of the conference, stellar performance in the finals. Obviously, was especially in the semifinals, uh, and he became the center of the attention of the defense,
You bet.
obviously of TNT. What does this do now to a guy like RJ? This kind of performance, this award that he has received, a breakthrough conference. What do you think does it do for somebody like RJ Barrientos?
Well, I think he's still evolving as a player. He's created that reputation now. When you come against Ginebra, we got to figure something special to stop RJ, and obviously Talkatex did that by bringing out Rosser or bringing out Kelly Williams to guard him. Imagine they were
Wow.
guarding him with a 6'7", guy all the time, all over the floor, not helping out. And then what they did is that when we got into pick and roll situations, they were able to switch. They switched McCullough onto him. And McCullough would guard him at 6'9". And so that was the way they tried to control him, by taking away one of his biggest strengths, which is pick and roll actions. He's very strong, very smart in pick and roll actions. But by being able to switch those cleanly, they took away that ability to use those pick and rolls. So, through at the end of the last, 3 or 4 games of this final series, we were telling RJ and Justin, don't screen for each other.
Mm,
We were telling Troy, don't run to RJ and screen, because all they're going to do is switch. And so we had to figure out ways to try to separate them. And
right.
it was really wearing on RJ, because this is something that was a little bit new. We saw a little bit of it in the Rain or Shine series, but not as dramatic. But they did it much more dramatically. And I thought RJ fell into a little bit of frustration through game 5 and game 6. But he started to figure it out in game 7. And this is going to be his evolution. Every team we go up against is going to have something to throw at him, and he's going to learn about it and figure
Mm,
it out. And that part of his game is going to grow every time.
mm,
And so to me, it's exciting to watch RJ go through this and figure it out. And he is such an incredibly intelligent player. He's
right.
really, really smart. I mean, he's skilled. He shoots well. He's got that Steph Curry type release, and he moves well without the ball.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's dynamic on the pick and roll, and he's really grown defensively, understanding the importance of it and what he can do and how he can be more technique conscious. He's grown in all those aspects, but he's still just scratching the surface of it. I think he's going to get so much better. When we drafted him, we were looking at other guys, but at number 3,
Mm,
and our sense was the reason we went with them, because we didn't need a point guard at the time.
right. Yeah.
We had Scotty, we had Ahan Misi, we had LA, we had a bunch of point guards. We didn't need a point guard at
Right.
the time, but we felt that this kid could be a generational type player, like his uncle was, like Johnny Abadientos was.
Right.
Johnny only comes around once in a generation, a guy like that.
Right. Right.
And we felt that this guy, RJ, had the potential to be that kind of generational player. And so we had to take him. So we because of that.
You mentioned Johnny. At this stage in his career, is RJ better than Johnny A?
Well, I told RJ, you got 12 more championships to do before you kick up the game. So he's got his ways to go, and
Yeah.
Johnny's
A long
doing it
ways to
every
go.
day. Johnny handles him. He's part of his development group. You know, he does video all the time with Johnny. They're literally on the court together every day before practice, doing things and doing skills. We didn't win the championship till Johnny came to our team. Johnny came to our team this conference to start this conference, and here we are winning the championship. And that a lot of that is because of his help and development of RJ. So
And maybe and obviously the trust of RJ and his uncle. It kind of reminds you of the Brunsons in New York, you know, Rick and
exactly.
Jalen.
Mm-hmm. Could very well bring that. Yeah, use that as a parallel.
Yeah.
But it's every day. It's every day those guys are together, and
Right.
so
Well,
we're tickled pink that Johnny is with us. And I told Johnny after the championship, we couldn't win until you got here, Johnny.
well, the team is back and the championships are flowing. Talking about championships and awards. Scotty got his third PBA Finals MVP. You know, with the surge of RJ Abarientos, obviously Scotty has taken a little bit of a step back, but obviously with this Finals MVP and a performance in Game 7 that was stellar as well and as usual, this is still Scotty's team, right, Tim?
Yeah, very much so. And I like the fact that they recognize and that they continue to recognize Scotty's contributions because they don't always show up in the big things like scoring. You know, he does Scotty things, and you can say that about him because those things are so unique. And you got to understand, he went through he had to bow out of the Gilas team because his hamstring injury is so severe and he can't play with us. And breaks my heart and breaks his heart, but he can't play with us in this upcoming Gilas window because he had to battle through this hamstring issue. After Game 7, his whole back of his leg on his hamstring was black and blue.
Wow.
And that is really unusual for a hamstring injury.
Wow.
Usually you don't see it, but it has come out and it's bruised all the way up and down his leg on his backside. So he battled through all that and still was able to do, you know, his Scotty things. He wasn't as explosive. You know, Scotty usually gets one or two Kalawit rebounds, you know, big, huge rebounds a game.
Yeah.
He really didn't have any of those in this series because he didn't have that same explosiveness that he normally has because of that hamstring. So on top of what he did for us and winning that championship, the character of battling through that injury and doing what he did, all the hustle, and then getting hit in the face, getting stitches in his face in the first 30 seconds of the game, 7. We were worried he wasn't going to be able to play, but he just said, put a Band-Aid on it, going back out. And we did. We just put a little Band-Aid on it, and he went out and played the rest of the game. His eye was almost swollen shut by the end of it.
Yeah, and the photos all show it. You know, obviously he came from war, and again, it's just so nice to see Scotty still doing what he can do and being rewarded for it by the PBA press corps.
That's why we're going to miss with Gilas when he's not on Gilas.
Exactly.
I told Scotty tonight. I was with him tonight at the head office tonight, and I told him, you know, Scotty, I am really a bad coach when you're not around. And I mean, he just is my comfort blanket. I just feel real confident when he's on the basketball team because I know he's going to do things that nobody can imagine can get done. So he's really going to miss Scotty coming up in this window.
Well, in this particular series, again, you displayed, you know, the depth of knowledge that you have of your players by putting in a magic bunot. Again, Nards Pinto hit one of the biggest shots in the finals with that corner 3 that really gave you a lot of cushion. And again, he played well in his limited time on the floor. Where did the confidence come, Tim, that you put him just at the right time in this particular series?
Well, okay, I think he went in because RJ got a flagrant foul.
That's right.
And had to leave the floor for 3 minutes. So
That was about 6 minutes
you
into the
can't-
game. Yeah, that's right.
You can't give me the credit for that.
No, you could
I'm
have
not
chosen
sure I called,
anyone. You could have
but-
chosen anyone.
Yeah, the reason actually we wanted to play Nard a lot more, but because it was difficult when they went to that lineup of Pogoy and Naftana and a guard. When they put those three guys out together, and we had two small guards, then that gave them the ability to when he played with RJ, it gave them the ability to attack our guards in the post. So it really became a matchup game for us. The whole series was really a matchup game. They were beating us up at the post with our guards, and we were beating them up in the post with Justin. And so anytime that I would try to make a move and bring somebody new in, they would go to that lineup and then go straight to the post. So it was hard. We couldn't really play three guards together. So he was really rotating in with RJ and
Right.
Scotty. So if you're going to rotate in with RJ and Scotty, you're going to get limited minutes because those guys, you want them on the floor as much as you can. So and that's one of the reasons that Steven was played so long and overplayed a lot, because he would get tired, but he was literally our only matchup to that Pogoy in the post or Uftana in the post. And we needed him out there defensively. And as you said earlier, defense was really the key,
Right.
and
Right.
especially in Game 7, because we were going to win that game defensively. We weren't going to win it because someone comes off the bench and plays a huge game. But as it turned out, Nards hit a couple of big shots right when we needed it. But Nards has been that way throughout his career. Even when he was with Moralco prior to us, he'd come out and make big plays and big shots. He doesn't fear the moment.
Right.
He never fears the moment. He never gets nervous. He never okay, I don't want to take this shot. I don't want to do. I'm not. I be careful about defense. No, he comes out and he just goes all out, and that's what you appreciate about him.
Well, not only one player can build a championship. Obviously, not a single coach can win a championship, but it's a full team effort, and I think that's what Ginebra displayed in this blockbuster of a finals. 26 titles, Tim. Needless to say, you're a Hall of Famer in a Hall of Fame career. And short of a statue outside of San Miguel or Alaska, what keeps you motivated to win more titles, Tim?
I've said this a lot recently, but people ask me what's my favorite championship of all the ones we've had. The supposed 26. What's my favorite one? And I always say the next one. The next one's going to be my favorite one. And I wake up in the morning and I want to go to work and I want to get with the guys and I want to do the thing. And I just don't. I don't know. That's such a. It's you're always motivated. It's hard to believe that you would not be motivated to continue to win and find ways to win.
Thanks so much, Tim, for joining us after a wonderful championship series. Of course, congratulations are in order. But there's no time for you to celebrate. What's going on there?
Yan po ang unang yugto ng ating panayam kay Coach Tim Cone, the winningest coach ng PBA history. Abangan niyo po yung ating second part nitong pinag-usapan niya yung kanyang mga plano sa Gilas, Pilipinas, na ngayon sila po ilalaban sa next window ng FIBA Asia Qualifiers. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, isa muna pong paalala sa ating mga kaibigan mula sa SMART. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by SMART. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Giga Life app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Giga Life app do for me? Check your balance. Monitor your current subscription. Top up using debit credit card. Subscribe to the latest Giga promos. Monitor your data consumption. Auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live more today! Thank you! When we come back, yung second part po ng ating panayam kay Coach Tim Cone at mamaya, isa pong paghimay sa nagaganap na FIFA World Cup 2026. Dito po sa Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Photon, Joyride at ng N Plus Gold. Ang oras po natin, 8:51 ng umaga. This time check is brought to you by Ultima and by M2 Veggie Drink. Drink your gulay.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai's stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Balita, impormasyon, serbisyo sa
uminom. Basta Yero, Cherry Room. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play with Com Noli Iyala.
Welcome back mga kapatid. Siyempre, dito po sa Power and Play, patuloy po tayo namimigay ng mga premyo mula sa Joyride Super App. Dito po sa ating Joyride Top-Up Promo. At pwede po kayo manalo ng 1,000 pesos JRPay wallet credits para magamit nyo sa Joyride. Napakadali po para sumali. I-download lamang ang latest version ng Joyride Super App. Kuhanan ng screenshot ang app's home screen at ipadala po ang screenshot via PM sa Power and Play FB page. Kasama po ng inyong buong pangalan at registered Joyride mobile number. At may pagkakataon kayo manalo ng 1,000 pesos JRPay wallet credits na inyong magagamit sa Joyride Motorcycle Taxi, Joyride Delivery, Joyride Taxi Cab, Joyride Car, at ang Joyride Super Taxi Airport Edition. Lahat po yan mula sa Joyride Super App. Partner?
Yep. Kamusta po kayo lahat? Masantos siya kabosan at si kayo namin, dita, nadlingin, pagkasinan. At also, if I may add, doon sa interview mo kay Coach Tim Con, syempre, kailangan rin natin na palakpakan ang kanilang kalaban. Ang TNT Tropang Giga. They gave up a good fight. Sabi ko nga sulit ang laban.
Solid.
Solid pala.
Nakagalit si Kobuili niya. Totoo yan. And of course, kay Coach Chot Reyes. Very well. Game 7 is Game 7. Anything can happen sa Game 7.
Yes, correct.
Alright.
Okay.
Pare, meron pa tayong isa. Wala naman sa ating kaibigang si Jojo Tamasi.
Oo, syempre. Thank you very much. At muling sumusuporta sa atin ang M2. Kaya, sidestep lang tayo sandali para sa ating segment tuwing Sabado, ang tinatawag na This or That. Ang This or That ay hatid sa atin ng M2 Veggie Drink. Drink your gulay, mag M2 Veggie Drink na. Mga kapatid, linggo-linggo ay meron tayong maswerteng winner ng M2 Veggie Drinks. Pero paano nyo makukuha yan? Madali lang po. Every week, abangan ang aming mga featured sports personality sa official Facebook page ng Power and Play. Pahulaan namin sa inyo ang kanyang magiging sagot sa aming 5 This or That questions. Ang may pinakamaraming tamang sagot at nauna niyang na-post ang kanyang entry ang siyang magiging winner.
Yun.
At ngayong linggo,
Yun.
Nagulat
ako.
At ngayong linggo, ang ating sports royalty, ang first Filipina Winter Olympian na si Tallulah Prue.
Yun.
Ayan.
Alamin natin, ha?
Mamaya, alamin natin ang kanyang magiging sagot sa aming disorder.
Yan. Abangan niyo po yan, si Tallulah Prue. Alright. Well, at this point, mga kapatid, ayan, yan ang mga questions nilabas nila.
Ayan, ulitin natin, ha?
Bilisan natin, ha?
Okay, fast runs or chill?
Uy.
Glide.
Yan.
Snowball or sunny slopes? Hot chocolate or coffee fix? Malunggay, syempre. Malunggay or okra? Snowblades or Snickers?
Naku, mabibigat ang mga tanong. Abangan niyo po mamaya sa ating This or That. At this point, pasok na natin mga kapatid ang ating part 2 ng interview natin with the winningest coach of the PBA at ngayon, iba namang sombrero, ang magiging head coach ng Gilas Pilipinas, si Coach Tim Con.
Like I mentioned, no rest for the weary, which is more difficult to manage, Tim. Getting up again after a series like what you had, or the brutal winter of Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, people don't realize how cold it's going to be down there. And my understanding from the past coaches is that the gymnasium we're playing in Auckland has no heat. There's no heat in the gym.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that happened to us in China. I remember it was the first Gilas team, and we played in a place called Pingguo in China. My goodness, it was freezing out there.
Yeah. So exactly, and so that's why we're leaving early. We're leaving on Tuesday, and we're going to try to gradually get adjusted to it. We're going to go to Brisbane, Australia for 4 days, and I think it's about 15, 16 degrees there. And then
not too bad.
Go down to New Zealand for 3 days, play a couple friendlies in New Zealand where it's about 11 or 12. And this is the high, not the mid, the high. It's like 11 or 12 degrees there. And so slowly we're going to try to adjust before we play that game in New Zealand. And then from there, that's on July 3rd. And then from there, we fly 9 hours, 8.5 hours, and 9 hours to Perth, Australia. We have to fly all the way across Australia and play in Australia, play in Perth. And that's about 13, 12, 13, 14 degrees there in Perth.
Wow.
So we wanted to get going early so we could kind of adjust to the weather, see if we could get down there and, practice a few times in the cold and try to get acclimated.
How important is this window, Tim, for
Greenland.
Gilas?
We really need one of the two. We need one of the two. And I'm not saying we're going to get one of the two because you're on the road. It's really, 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 really tough. But we need one of two because now after this, we go in August, we'll go into the crossover with the Middle Eastern teams, Iran, Iraq, and Jordan, possibly Iraq or Syria. And we're going to have to, if we lose both these games here, it might be we have to sweep the Middle Eastern teams to get in.
Right.
And so winning one here would be huge because we have a higher margin of error going in against these, losing a fluke game or whatever, and losing a game to one or two of the Middle East might knock us out. So one of these two would be absolutely fantastic if we could go out and do it. So that's our mindset right now.
And of course, you're bringing a team where, as you said, there are some faces that won't be there, particularly Scotty, who has been a stalwart of the Gilas team. Kai will not be there. Obviously, QMB will not be there. But you're bringing in some new guys. And I want to ask you about the role you see for Mike Phillips, who's going to obviously step into some big shoes. How does he fit your system? Where do you see him? How much contribution do you expect from him?
Well, Motor Mike is I'm finding in practice these last couple of days, Motor Mike is really an apt nickname. I mean, he is a motor. I mean, it doesn't stop. It's amazing to watch him. He just plays and plays and plays and plays and plays. I used to think that Rudy Hatfield was the ultimate motor guy, but Mike might be another level beyond Rudy, and I never thought I'd ever be able to say that. But it's all about, and I told this to Mike, his usage will all depend on his knowledge, on how much he can gain knowledge-wise between now and when we get to Brisbane. Brisbane is really where we're going to do our camp, our 2-a-day practices, and really get deep into the Endeavor guys will join us, and we'll be ready to go there. But he needs to increase his knowledge of what we need from him, and not just go out there and play and create havoc, which is what he's really good at, but he needs to also be able to find his way within the system and not be a disruptor, but be and he can add to what we do. So that's when you ask me how much he's going to impact, that's really on him and the coaching staff to get him into that level. But in terms of pure skills, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but
he's entering the draft.
I'll say it in a whisper, but because I'm sure someone from New Zealand and Australia is watching this thing. But I think he's going to surprise them down there.
Well, we like surprises.
He does. He's a big Scotty Thompson. I tell you what, that's what he is.
That's a big compliment, obviously, and we're looking forward to.
He does Motor Mike things that other people don't do.
Well, I'm already excited. What about Justin Baltasar? He's coming in. He's been with the team in the past, but obviously he's matured in his game in the PBA. How do you see him now?
Well, we needed that size and versatility without obviously Q and Kai. So we think he's a guy that can defend different guys, and his shot has been developing. He's getting to be a better perimeter shooter from deeper. He's extending his range a little bit, and he has the requisite size to match up to these guys at at 3 or 4 positions. So, again, he had that opportunity to be with us and kind of immerse himself in the system in the last window, even though he didn't actually join the window. He went through all the practices. So he's got that leg up already, and he's bringing that into one. So, as you learn more and more what you're supposed to do, the expectations go up for you. And if you don't know anything, we can't expect anything from you. But once you start to gain knowledge, now our expectations start to go up. So our expectations for Balti are much higher than they were in the last window.
We don't want to expose any other secret here that might just tip the opponents off. But obviously, KQ is a guy that can play many multiple positions. Are we expecting, or are you looking at maybe getting KQ to play some other role in the team other than what he has been used to?
We're definitely looking at expanding KQ's role. We're looking at him maybe as a starter or maybe first guy off the bench. We trying to find ways to extend his minutes. We're going to try to play with a tighter rotation this time around, and that should give KQ extra minutes than what he's had in the past. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, when all else fails, of course, there is the old championship reliables, the Ginebra Gin Kings. You've got your 4 guys there still, including Troy.
So we only got 3 now.
Well, Troy is there. You got RJ. You've got Scotty's out. So and then JB.
And so Justin.
Right.
Justin, RJ, and
well, obviously Troy has really earned his spot here with another good performance in the finals. Do you see this triumvirate playing a key role in this particular window?
Well, I think there'll be big leaders on the team because they are the most comfortable to do. They are our extensions from the coaching staff. They help out the other guys and help them with their understanding. Justin's really good about that, talking to the players, and he's a master of the triangle, a master of what we try to do, and he imparts that knowledge into the other guys like Dwight and KQ and Carl.
Right.
We expect these guys to be impactful not only on the floor, but off the floor and in practice.
Is there any concern about Justin playing? Getting so much mileage on his legs. He's been playing. We know that he will be playing in the next conference as well. And then, of course, this window. Are you concerned about that at all?
Well, I know that the Ginebra management is concerned. They tell me about it all the time. But, I was talking to Justin, yesterday, and he was going, I'll come by practice tomorrow and, get some shots up and, I'll do some stuff with the players. And I looked at him and I said, absolutely not. You're not coming. We're not having you anywhere near us right now. You are staying home, or you're going to stay home until I give you a call. And he's in total rest at this point. But that's Justin's attitude. He wants to be there. He wants to be working. He wants to be with the players. And Justin hasn't changed at all in terms of work ethic or practice time or practice intensity. From the time he was 25 to the time from the time he was 27 to the time he was 37. That has not changed. He is there every day. He's doing the work every day. He's working harder than everybody all the time. So, I concern myself, and I try to, find ways to help him out. But in some ways, he's a freak of nature. He just finds ways to continue to do it. So he's got a lot of great guys around him on the Gilas team, so hopefully they can step up and take some of the pressure off him. He doesn't have to be the import for us. He just needs to be one of our better players. That's all.
And of course, now that Benny Boatwright is also, whose papers have also been approved by Congress, and obviously is going to be submitted to FIBA, I guess, if it's not already there, very soon. What are your plans for Benny? Are you even thinking about Benny joining the trip and getting exposed a little bit?
No, he's in the States and he's busy at the moment, so he's um, we are planning on him. If it works out well, we're planning on bringing him in for the Asian Games, so he'll be through the whole Asian Games, and we're hoping that Benny and Justin can play together because it'll be the last Asian Games was two naturalized players, so it'd be awesome. We could have the two of them together.
Wow!
Could be the
Wow!
one
Wow!
to help him and teach him.
Right.
And we'll take a look at Justin in August. It's really Justin's decision at this point. Benny is his backup at this point. So anytime Justin doesn't feel he can go or he needs to take a break, now we have someone who can really step in and do it. So we hope, like you're saying, next window, no matter whether Justin or Benny is playing, we hope to bring them both in and teach Benny what we're doing,
Right.
so he can be available through that August window and then into September when we play the Asian Games.
All right. Well, I have two final questions for you, Tim, and just to close this interview. Let me just go back a little bit to the finals and the entire Commissioner's Cup. It was a blockbuster of a conference, particularly the finals. We packed MOA in Game 7 and in the rest of the venues, and over 1.15 million viewers on social media for the PBA. Obviously, a big comeback. And it's not just the popularity of the two teams, Ginebra and TNT. I think it's really about the quality of the games. Your take on this, Tim, and how much the imports have also helped in bringing back the fans.
Well, I thought the Talking Tex bringing Bol Bol was a brilliant move for the whole league, not just for them, but for the whole league. He created a stir. People came flocking to just to see him, and to go on TV. And I know that because even my family was like, my wife was, I want to watch Bobo play, and my kids in the States were putting it on streaming so they could watch Bobo play. And so, it wasn't just the common fan. There were people that had great interest in that. And I think he brought a lot of things to the table.
Yeah.
And it's a crime that we lost him at some point to his Achilles injury. But
Yeah.
I thought he brought a lot. And I think through that, because people were watching that and watching Bol Bol, I think they appreciated the level of play as well and continued to watch it and got interested in watching the PBA again because of that interest that he got from Bol Bol. So a lot of it, I think, came from Bol Bol. And I think it was a brilliant move by the Talking Tex management. And I have to tip my cap to Coach Chott and to make that effort to bring him in. I mean,
many of the imports were quite, quality imports, and
they were good this conference.
Really performed well, including a lot of the locals that showed off in this particular conference. We hope it continues. Well, Tim, I know it's been a long interview, but let me ask you tonight, Alex Ayala. I saw your post about Alex on X, and tonight she plays again in the quarterfinals against Elena Svitolina. You have 26 championships, and Alex is looking for her first WTA 250, over 250 title. If you were to talk to her, and she would ask you how to sustain excellence, Tim, what would you tell Alex at this point?
She would know at the level of what she's playing right now. She knows so much more than me. She knows the game so much more than me than I.
I guess it's just really the attitude.
She's young, so she's still learning, and she still wants to grow. But the mental aspects in which she has to play to be at that high level, I don't think people understand how really difficult professional tennis is. I mean, you don't have a teammate sitting there. When you're down, telling you, "Oh, it's all right. Come on, you can do this."
Yeah.
This is totally on her, and I mean that to me is amazing. And then the physical rigors of playing a 2 hour, 3 hour, sometimes a 4 hour set of her match is just I love tennis. I play.
I know.
So I know what it feels like a little bit, but I know after how tired I get after three hits back and forth, I'm already tired. But it's just an amazing what she goes through. But
Yeah.
it's all to me for her. And she knows this. It's all prep. It's all in the preparation.
Yeah.
Her preparation is going to decide how well she plays that day. And
Power and Play.
Yan po ang panayam natin kay Coach Tim Cone. Naku, napakalawak ng pinag-usapan natin from their championship to Gilas, even to Alex Ayala. Sabi nga niya, it's all about preparation. Alam natin kung gaano kagaling mag-prepare si Coach Tim Cone. That's why naman yung kanyang excellence has been sustained all these years.
Kaya nga kanina nakikinig ako. Ano kaya ni Tim Cone si Ligaya?
Ligaya?
Yung babaeng walang pahinga. Susunod, meron na naman siya. Tuloy-tuloy.
Oo, mantakin niyo mga kapatid. After ng championship, talagang we were inviting him. Ang dami niya po. Nag-practice kagad sila ng Webes. Kahapon, meron pa silang World Gin Day sa San Miguel compound. At doon din ang celebration nila sa head office. And then of course, today may practice ang Gilas. Tapos sa Tuesday, aalis na sila. May practice pa ng Lunes. Ay, pambihira talaga
Walang pahinga.
Pero again, congratulations to Barangay Ginebra for their championship. And of course, to Coach Tim Cone. Talagang Hall of Fame career. The winningest coach in the PBA. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, syempre, tingnan muna natin ang mga viral videos at pop culture sa mundo ng palakasan sa Stop and Pop. Ang title ng video natin ngayong araw pong ito ay Takes One to Know One. Tingnan natin to. Ayan po Viral ngayon itong video call na ito ni pambansang kamao Manny Pacquiao. Ayun! Nasa kabilang linya lang naman si NBA champion Jordan Clarkson. Binati ni Pacman si Kuya JC sa kanyang tagumpay. Mapapangiti ka talaga sa dalawang mama na ito na proud na irepresenta ang Pilipinas sa world stage. From one champ to another, it takes one to know one. At yan din po, of course, ang ating Stop and Pop. Alright, when we come back, mga kapatid, ang masayang Casio Bash and himayin natin ng konti ang FIFA World Cup 2026. Kasama ng ating isang sports analyst, si Diego Cordero.
Hindi Maradona yan,
Hindi Diego Maradona. Pero sikat ito. Mas sikat pa sa ama niya.
Yun.
Sa pagbabalik po ng Power and Play, atid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Photon, Joyride, at ng N Plus Gold. Ang oras po natin, 9:18 ng umaga. This time check is brought to you by Ultima and by M2 Veggie Drink. Drink your gulay.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Maraming salamat po dahil saan man ang True FM. Naroon din kayo sa 105.9 na tayo. Dito tayo sa totoo.
Tatak ng tapa!
True sa'yo, kapatid. Simulcast sa True TV sa Signal Channel 19.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play with Com Noli Iyala.
Muli po nagbabalik ang Power and Play on our second hour. And siyempre, bago po tayo magpatuloy, gusto namin magpasalamat sa lahat po ng tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Alam mo, next week, partner, anniversary na natin.
Uy!
Aba naman, kita mo magna 9 years na tayo. Kaya, again, gusto natin po magpasalamat sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa Power and Play, mga nanonood sa atin, sa lahat ng ating platforms, and of course, sa lahat po ng ating mga sponsors.
Sige, partner.
Unahin ko na muna, partner, ating kaibigan, si partner Elmer Ngo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum sa ganitong babago-bagong panahon. Ngayon po, nag-uulan na, kailangan natin na matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ng bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang alam kung kalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom, tibay protektado sa pang matagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum.
Thank you!
Mileage Asia Corporation, roofing the nation with Cherry Loom, galvanizing the industry with Sumo brand GI sheets.
Thank you!
Photon, empowering the Filipino business. Kapag komportable ang biyahe, ang sarap kang mag-long trip. At yan ang hatid ng Photon vans tulad ng Photon Van, Trans Van, Photon Traveler, Photon Tuano 15-seater at Photon Tuano Executive 11-seater. Turbo diesel ang makina, walang bitin sa lakas at hatak. Merong manual at automatic transmission, pang negosyo, pang barkada at pang pamilya. Merong 5-year or 150-kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. Pumunta at tumawag sa pinakamalapit na Photon dealership sa inyong lugar.
Thank you!
Cherry Tigo, love your journey. Cherry Auto Philippines has given motorists yet another reason to switch to its 7-seater all-new Tigo REV Luxury Edition SUV. The all-new Tigo REV LE has posted a best-in-class fuel efficiency rating of 84.28 kilometers per liter gasoline equivalent, following a fuel eco run conducted by the Department of Energy in 2025. According to the DOE test results, the Tigo REV LE topped its class among vehicles evaluated across plug-in hybrid, diesel, and gasoline categories. The Tigo REV LE has a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine. It offers a combined electric and hybrid driving range of up to 1,400 kilometers on a full tank and charge. The model also comes equipped with multiple safety and driver assistance features, including advanced driver assistance systems, adaptive cruise control, and a 540-degree camera system. Own a 7-seater Cherry Tigo REV LE starting at 1.548 million pesos. Visit your nearest Cherry Auto Philippines dealership and book a test drive today.
Thank you!
Joyride ang inyong bagong kasundo. Bawat lakad, bawat biyahe, may Joyride na para sa iyo. Joyride MC Taxi para sa mabilisang solo rides. Joyride Car para sa komportable at affordable na car rides. Joyride Taxi Cab para sa convenient meter rides. At Joyride Super Taxi Airport Transfer para sa hassle-free airport trips nyo. Always safe at affordable, mag-book na mga kasundo. Joyride ang inyong bagong kasundo.
Thank you!
M2 Veggie Drink. Drink your gulay. Game on. Hydrate right with M2 Veggie Drink. Packed with natural electrolytes from malunggay, okra, and ginger. It's gulay power in every sip, and yes, it's surprisingly delicious. Trusted by moms, loved by kids, and perfect for school days, play days, and every day. Available at Lidl supermarkets and drugstores nationwide. Drink your gulay, mag M2 Veggie Drink na. Follow M2's official social media accounts for more updates, promos, and healthy tips.
Thank you!
N Plus Gold, tanda ng pagmamahal. May bago tayong teammates sa Power and Play. Ang N Plus Gold Adult Nutritional Powder Drink para sa bawat laban, powered ka with calcium, phosphorus, vitamin D3, essential nutrients for mobility and bone strength, at soy protein to support muscle development. N Plus Gold, tanda ng pagmamahal.
Thank you!
Ultima, vitamins and minerals with ginseng food supplement. Korean Panax Ginseng Ultima.
Thank you!
Skin Your Face and Body Anti-Aging Center with branches at Alabang, Town Center, and Green Hills, San Juan.
Thank you!
And Smart, live more today.
Thank you!
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Alright, partners, second hour. Malapit na. Pero bago natin pasok ang ating susunod na segment. Ako gusto ko lang pong batiin si Joey Santillan, yung ating pong ama ng ating producer na si Mike. Medyo get well soon, partner Joey. Si paring Joey, alam mo, kasama ko yan nung PBA days ko ba. And of course, now I work with his son. Medyo nagkaroon ng konting, alam mo naman, pag ganyan na pag nagkakaedad ka, Joey, huwag ka nakakain ng mga chicharong bulaklak. Tama na yan. Pero get well soon, Joe.
At Santi, alagaan mo si Joey.
Alagaan mo si Joey. Ang papa mo. Alagaan mo.
So I want to greet special greetings. No?
Uy!
Bukas pa yun.
Bukas pa.
Bukas pa yun. Pero para sa amin lahat mga ama, Happy Father's Day. Pero happy birthday sa aking sunod-sunod sila mga batchmates ko.
Sige.
Si Ricky Spassky Pascual, magkapatid kambal na si Mio and Ronnie Santos at si Lito Ronsairo, no? And also, isang masugid na nanonood sa atin, former professional basketball player. Last time naglaro siya, 1978, sa Solid Mills. At kasama natin sa Forest Hills, magaling mag-golf, si Danny Manalastas.
Wow!
Kaya,
Boss
Danny, dahil nag-text sa akin, pinag-uusapan natin last week yung 3 generations ng mga Barrientos.
Yes.
Nagkamali po ako. Dahil yung current na
RJ.
si RJ is 5'11".
Okay.
Yung kanyang uncle na si Johnny Abarientos ay 5'8".
Aba.
Pero yung lolo nila, si Haba, si Billy Abarientos, 5'4" po.
5'4"?
Pero during that time, yan ang standard
The
ng
flying A. Yun ang the flying A. Kaya
diba?
haba-haba yun.
Haba-haba. Yun lang po. Buddy, I'll see you soon in the fairways.
Yes, sir. At of course, lahat po ng mga nakikinig sa atin sa 105.9 True FM, sa Channel 19 ng True TV, and of course, 1PH, and of course, sa lahat po sa FB at sa YouTube. Again, we thank you for your support dito po sa Power and Play. Alright, at this point, partner, pasok na natin ang ating masayang segment na tinatawag nating Cash or Bash. At ang Cash or Bash, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo, Love Your Journey. At dito po, ay ating makakasama dito sa segment na to ang ating kaibigan at Suki, ang Chief Editorial Content na editor ng Game Magazine, and of course our good friend of the show, si Mr. Sid Ventura. Magandang umaga, Sid.
Hi, Sid.
Magandang umaga, Sir Jera. It's good to be back.
Thank you for joining us.
It's an honor again.
Alam mo, ang dami-daming balita nangyayari. Hindi naman natin kayang himayin lahat. But let me go to a topic that, of course, hindi pa natin napag-usapan so far in this, the NBA Championship of the New York Knicks, Sid. Obviously, a historic one, although masama mukha ni Sid. Kasi, alam to sa Boston Celtics.
Kaya mo lang, Sid, tanggapin mo naman. Magkatabi lang naman yan, dalawang city na yan. Tanggapin na.
Ako, ang tanong ko lang, because nakita natin yung series na yun. It went also to a game 5. It was closer than the actual series score. But si Jalen Brunson, Sid, was just, alam mo, very humble itong taon to. We saw him in the parade. 2 million people in the parades in downtown New York. Sid, is Jalen Brunson, sa tingin mo ba, is he the greatest Knick of all time?
Ako kasi personally ayoko mag-label ng greatest of all time habang naglalaro pa eh. So tingnan muna natin what happened. And even his dad, Rick Brunson, nung tinanong siya, sabi, ang sagot ni Rick, Patrick Ewing pa rin daw.
Patrick Ewing, ha?
15 years.
Hindi pa champion yun, ha?
Oo. Kasi, I think he's in the top 5 right now. Tingnan natin, if he wins one more, di pantay na siya with Walt Frazier. And Willis Reed na 2 championships ang napanalunan ng mga legends na yun eh. Di ba? But definitely he's in the top 5, maybe even in the top 3 sa conversation. No?
Itong conversation na to, mas magugustuhan mo. Yung Giannis Antetokounmpo Derby. Kung saan, ang Boston Celtics ay nababanggit na baka daw lipatan ni Giannis Antetokounmpo, although ang kapalit ay si Jaylen Brown. Aba, ikaw ba, Sid? I mean, if you were in the head office, would you do this trade?
You know, if it's Giannis, you cannot just turn it down right away, no? Kailangan mo pag-aralan eh. Diba? And ang reality, yung dalawang salaries ni JT and JB, Tatum and Brown, it's gonna eat up a lot of salary cap.
Ganun din naman siguro si Giannis. No? Ganun din yun siguro, Sid.
Well, ano naman na siya eh. I think mas maliit ng konti yung ano yan. I'm not really sure how the mathematics works out. Ano? Ang concern ko lang ang question ko lang dyan is, when was the last time he was healthy? Di ba? Parang mga past 4 or 5 seasons, hindi siya nakakakompleto na season. Lagi siya may injury.
Oo nga.
So, I think kailangan ni maayos ng Celtics management yan, yung health niya before they pull trigger on.
Ikaw ba, partner, gagawin mo?
Una, yes na yes ako.
Kasi may Miami Heat na nababanggit din. Kita mo?
Una nga, yes na yes ako. Pero sabi nga, yung injury, medyo kuwan. Tapos sinabi mong Miami Heat, mas lalo na.
Well, it will be interesting kung saan pupunta si Giannis at yung lipatan. Plus, of course, the NBA draft which is coming up. So a lot of things dito sa off-season ng NBA. Yes. But again, yung mga mahihilig sa NBA at mga sumusuporta sa New York Knicks, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations sa nga rin. Sige.
Really? Sige. Napilitan pa si Sid.
Para labas sa ilong, Sid.
Alright, well, alam natin ang drill dito sa Casio Bash, Sid. Magbibigay kami ng mga items na iyong hatulan if it is with your approval, cash. At kung hindi ka naman sa ngayon, bash. Of course, walang tama, walang mali. Bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit. At unahin na natin ang ating unang topic of the morning. Ito ay patungkol pa rin sa naganap na PBA Commissioner's Cup. Living legend at future Hall of Famer si Justin Brownlee sa dami ng kanyang kontribusyon sa Ginebra at Philippine basketball, kagaya ng binanggit kanina ni Tim Cone. So, Casio Bash, dapat ayusin ng PBA ang patakaran nito at payagan ang mga import katulad ni Brownlee na maging Finals MVP sa liga? Go, Sid!
Cash ako dito, Comnoli.
Aba?
Although hindi ako kasama sa voting, kasi hindi naman ako member ng PBA Press Corps, pero right now they were constrained talaga to vote for a local. All due respect to Scottie Thompson, walang local from Ginebra that was really consistent game in and game out. So parang nahihirapan bumoto ng clear-cut winner, no? So in this case, it was clear na Justin Brownlee was the best player in the series. Yeah. No one came close. Back-to-back 50-point games. Will it happen? I'm not really sure kasi talagang historically may distinction ng PBA's awards between the imports and the locals. But I think this deserves a second look. I think maybe we should consider awarding the Finals MVP also to imports. For me, si Justin Brownlee was a deserving winner if ever.
Good point, partner.
Yeah, I totally agree with the Sid here, no? Dahil meron naman yung best import, di ba? But not all imports can automatically be the finals MVP of the finals. Dalawa lang yan, di ba? Tsaka may kalaban rin naman kabila yun no? And besides, isang tanong ko rin di ba? Katulad niya kay Justin Brownlee, parang hindi ko na maintindihan dahil ang kanyang kuha ngayon naturalized Filipino siya.
Well, diba? Pero ang kanyang category pa rin import.
Yeah, but still, para ka sa akin, kung may mga ganyang category, di labas mo rin yan. Paano yun? Naturalized Filipino siya. So, how do you diba? Balance and categorize it.
Alam mo kasi nung araw naman, malayong-malayo ang import sa locals natin. Pero naglakihan na rin ang Pilipino.
Correct.
And can you imagine kung hindi si Justin Brownlee ang naging best import? Halimbawa, naiwan si Manute Bol at siya naging best import. And then Brownlee plays that way and does not get a single award in the finals. Nakakahinayang din, no? Last week, napag-usapan natin kung pwedeng gawin part of the greatest players ng PBA ang import.
Yun,
and
diba?
we all agreed nila last week na dapat magkaroon na ng meron lang certain criteria. Gano'ng karaming conferences, etc.
Na naglaro sa PBA.
So again, these are things that are evolving and hopefully, pag-aralan na mabuti ng PBA management. Alright, let's go to our second matter of the morning. Di lang si Tim Cone ang diretsong national team duty. Si Justin Brownlee din.
Diba?
So, Casio Bash, dapat ilaro rin si Jordan Clarkson, nakaka-champion lang sa mabibigat na laban ng national team, lalo't tapos na ang NBA season. Casio Bash, Sid, go!
Kung dapat ang pinag-uusapan, kasya na kasya ko dyan. Jordan Clarkson yun di ba? Kung pwede ba siya, kung pwede siya, bakit hindi? Di ba? Pero syempre, in reality is, it will come with a big cost kasi may insurance yan It's required if an NBA player is going to play for their national team or any other tournament outside of the NBA, the team that's gonna absorb him needs to pay a certain percentage of his NBA salary as insurance. That's the rule Kaya medyo magastos din talaga, no? So, pero kung dapat lang ang pag-uusapan, why not? Di ba? I mean, Jordan Clarkson, lalo na ngayon, Jordan Clarkson proudly displayed the Philippine flag in the next championship parade. He's very, very proud of his Filipino roots. So, why not? Di ba? Pero ang reality is, medyo malayong bumalik siya ulit muna sa Gilas.
Partner?
I totally agree again with Sid. Para bang sinabi lang pwede ba maglaro si Jordan Clarkson? Ang sagot dyan magkano? Hindi, papaano pala, papaano. Papaano, hindi magkano. No? It boils down to magkano mailalabas siya para maglaro.
Pahirapan yan. Pahirapan talaga yan. Well, we've seen talaga namang Jordan Clarkson is proud to wear the colors natin. But again, both Sid and partner Jerry are correct. Talagang mahirap yung logistics na yan. Lalong-lalo na itong window na to. Isipin mo, katatapos lamang ng NBA season. Biglang paliliparin mo para maglaro ka agad. I think even Jordan Clarkson baka magreklamo yun. Pahinga muna ako, boss. Hindi pa naman yan mismo yung yung Olympics o yung yung World Cup
Kayo muna dyan.
Kayo muna dyan. Ang dami-dami na yung naturalize Alright, let's go to our third item of the morning. Well, medyo ito ay iba naman pero basketball-related pa rin. Nag-resign na bilang Ateneo coach si Tab Baldwin kasunod ng trahedya ng pagkakalunod ng dalawang players ng Ateneo. So, Casio Bash, basketball lang at di dapat madamay ang ibang program ng Ateneo kung may sususpindihin ng UAAP. Go, Sid!
Again, the wording, kung dapat, yes, kasya ko, agree ako sa logic na yon na wag mong idamay yung other athletes from the other sports kasi wala naman silang kinalaman. But again, the reality there is sa UAAP mandatory sport ang men's basketball. So if a university cannot play in men's basketball, damay-damay na lahat Kaya nasuspend din lahat ng varsity teams ng Lasal noong 2006. Ganon din sa Adamson noong 1994. In both cases, yung men's basketball team lang naman yung may may violations, di ba? Pero damay-damay na lahat. Maybe the UAP should revisit that rule siguro. Para hindi naman madadama yung ibang athletes kasi nagte-training din sila year round and then they will have to sit out a year just because of the suspension of another varsity team. So yeah, kasya ko. Kung pwedeng ma-workout yun, yes. Sana ganun lang if ever na may suspension.
Partner?
Yep, again, I agree with Sid here, di ba? Actually, gusto ko lang i-copy-paste yung sinabi niya, dadagdagan ko lang di ba?
And it's a good point.
Kaya nga di ba? Di ba? It's very illogical for that ruling to still be served kung na magsususpend. Parang kinalaman ng kabila.
Well, mukhang yun naman ay dala na rin ng napakaraming pressure ngayon na nangyayari sa social media because of this case. But hopefully, calmer heads will come together at there will be a sober decision dito sa sitwasyon na ito.
Let's not be pressured by sometimes illogical
clamor
in social media, 'di ba? Sorry po, lahat naman tayo gumagamit ng social media tulad nga nung aking palaging binabantayan na si Attorney Chico, 'di ba? Yung sumikat yang social media dumaming naglakas ng loob ang madaming mga bobo na to come out in social media. Marami pala tayo. Pero kay Attorney Chico lang galing yan inuulit ko lang.
Again, let's see. Pero again, sana nga wag naman madamay ang walang mga kasalanan.
Yes.
Sid, maraming salamat ngayong umaga. let's
Thank you
continue to
for having
enjoy
me.
our break from all of this action, pero maraming magiging
Ito nga, may
off-season.
World Cup nga sa likod ko
May
eh.
World
Yun!
Cup. May
My
Alex
favorite
Ayala mamayang
Brazil.
gabi, Sid. May Alex Ayala. Tandaan mo, ha?
May Alex Ayala pa.
May Alex pa tayo mamaya. Thank you
Pero
so
right
much.
now, Selicao tayo. Favorite to Brazil. Thank you very much.
Salamat.
And,
Thank
Mga
you.
kaibigan, Sid Ventura ng The Game Magazine. Abangan niyo po yung kanilang kung daming very interesting articles dyan sa kanyang
Naman.
sa digital platform nila.
Yeah.
Alright, bago tayo magpatuloy sa ating huling guest mga kapatid, syempre, magbalik tanaw muna tayo sa ilang bahagi ng kasaysayan ng sports this week in sports history.
June 19, 2000, or 26 years ago, tinalo ng Los Angeles Lakers ang Indiana Pacers 116-111 sa Game 6 ng NBA Finals para sa World Title. Finals MVP si Shaquille O'Neal na kumamada ng 41 points, 12 rebounds at 4 blocks. Ito ang unang title ni Shaq at unang championship ng Lakers sa kanilang early 2000 three-peat. Lakers claim title over Pacers this week in sports history.
Kita mo, puro championship, ba? Talaga ito panahon na to kasi championship eh. And talking about championship, mga kapatid, well, ang nagaganap po ngayon, kagaya na binanggit din ni Sid, is one of the biggest in sports. Yung pong Football World Cup. At yan po ang ating itatampok sa ating huling yugto, ang In the Spotlight. At para po pag-usapan ang nagaganap na FIFA World Cup 2026, that is the biggest so far nitong staging na to in 3 countries, 16 cities. Walang iba kundi ang football commentator and analyst at ang anak ng ating kaibigan, Philippine Star assistant editor. Walang iba kundi si Aba Cordero, ang kanyang anak, si Diego Cordero. Magandang umaga, Diego. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, Diego. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Thank you for having me, Sir Noli and Sir Jera. And to all our viewers, thank you for having me. Good morning. And yeah, very excited about this World Cup. Once again, thank you for having me.
I want to start with this. I know you've been following the World Cup. Nagpo-post ka ng mga World Cup results. But this is the biggest. With 48 teams this edition, how has this expanded format changed the competition, Diego, for you?
Well, it means that smaller countries can qualify, and that's something that countries like the Philippines or other Southeast Asians can be happy at because it gives hope to smaller non-footballing countries. Ayun nga, yung mga small Caribbean island nations nag-qualify for this World Cup, and they are the notable stories. Uzbekistan, first World Cup. Jordan from the Middle East, first World Cup. So there are new teams in this World Cup, and it means that it's more of a representation of the world. So it fits the name, World Cup. And it means also there are more upsets that are possible. And if you're a neutral fan, it means it's more entertaining.
And talking about that, this World Cup is already proving that there are no easy matches anymore. Ang dami ng mga nakikita natin mga laro that, sabi mo nga, have been upsets or even draws na unlikely with established teams in football. But which team so far, Diego, para sa'yo, has been impressive and has stood out so far in this field of 48?
For me, I've been very impressed by Morocco. Again, they are not a established footballing powerhouse katulad ng Germany, Spain, Brazil, France, England, Italy. So Morocco are one of those teams that are trying to break into some records that are usually being held by elite teams na from Europe or from South America. So it's an African team, North African team that is trying to break the status quo. And again, that's made possible because this World Cup format expanded. There's more unpredictability for all the games. And I've been very impressed from Morocco. One draw against Brazil, who are one of the favorites, of course. And then a win earlier against Scotland. So they are already pretty much safe to get into the knockout stage. And again, they got top 4 last World Cup. First African country ever to do so. They will be looking to match or even better that record. Maybe they can be the first African team to reach a final.
Wow, grabe pala yun.
Kaya nga eh. Well, continuing with what Diego said. Ang ganda nga ng pangalan ni Diego. Kala mo, football.
Maradona.
Diego Cordero.
Siguro doon nilagay ni parang Abak.
Diego
Doon
Cordero.
pinangalan nito eh.
But anyway, having said that, no, tama yung sinabi ni Diego. Right now, I saw a social media post that it was re-ranked after their first game lang ng lahat na nag-participate, no? Out of the 48 World Cup teams, no? And within the top 20, kumbaga, in-assess nila after game 1, yung lahat sila nakapaglaro na, Morocco stands at number 8.
Wow.
Sa ranking.
Wow.
And also, number 20, yung top 20, no? Japan pumasok. Ang Ivory Coast, number 19 sa ranking. After nung nakalaro sila ng tag-iisa lahat. No? Pati ang Egypt pumasok at number 16. No? South Korea at number 12. So, what can you say about this, Diego? No? Na talagang
very balanced.
Very balanced. May mga pumapasok ng 2 Asian countries na parang nagkaroon ng re-ranking after their performance in their first game.
Well, you can see the rankings are very fluid because once you're in the elite stage of those world rankings, anyone can beat anyone. And the teams that you mentioned, South Korea, for example, there are a lot of teams that are proving that you don't need to be either an elite European country or South American country in football. Also, Ivory Coast, as you said, Sir Jera, there are countries from other continents that are trying to break the quote-unquote status quo. And ayun nga, those rankings are very fluid. I'm sure after the second match day, mababago ulit because again, there are so many results that are fluid and unpredictable and a lot of upsets can also change those rankings and we've already seen surprising results. But ayun, once you reach that stage of the world rankings, anyone can beat anyone.
And this is a World Cup, partner, that is hosted by 3 countries. Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And so far, itong tatlong to, in their groups, are doing very well. Mexico and the US are undefeated. Canada has a one win, 1 draw record. If you are to look at their games, Diego, sa tingin mo ba, will we see a host country here making some really big news and maybe even making it all the way to the top of the World Cup? Is that even a possibility right now with the way they've shown with the way they've played so far, Diego, sa tingin mo?
Well, if there is to be a host country winning a World Cup, this edition is the biggest chance because it's the first time there are 3 hosts for one World Cup. We've had 2 countries share it before. For example, Japan, Korea, they shared a World Cup before. But in terms of having 3, this is the biggest chance for a host to go far. I think Mexico and the US will be feeling their chances are very likely. For Canada, medyo malayo pa. Again, Canada is rising up. Actually, I think a decade ago, pantay yung rankings ng Philippines and Canada. So that's how far they've jumped over the past decade.
Wala sa top 20 nga ngayon ng Canada.
Yes, nasa around top 20 or top 30 na yung Canada. So that's an example also of how to improve. But for Mexico and US, I think they will really feel they can go very deep into this tournament, especially si Mexico because of the atmosphere that is in the Mexico stadiums.
Ito, just a quick question, Diego and partner, ikaw, because I think it was also the first time that FIBA hosted the World Cup using 3 countries. Dito, Philippines, Indonesia and Japan. Do you think they use this as a template for this FIFA World Cup? What do you think?
Baka baliktad. Tingin ko nauna yata nag-decide ang FIFA. But what is it? What do you think, Diego?
I think by 2018, FIFA had already decided to make it 3 countries.
2019 yung FIBA Nag-decide
sila. So it's the other way.
Naging modelo yun.
Nauna lang yung laro ng dito sa Philippines.
Correct.
Okay.
There are several young stars making a name, Diego, in football's biggest stage right now. Who do you believe is the breakout player dito sa FIFA World Cup?
Well, you have to look at the one from Spain, si Lamine Yamal, because he is, I believe, 19 years old, or 18 or 19 years old, and he is Spain's most dangerous player. Spain had a very disappointing draw against a tiny island nation in Cape Verde, population 600,000, and we all know what Spain is in sports. But it was a scoreless draw. Spain looked best when Lamine Yamal was playing, but he only played 15 minutes, so he should have played from the start. He is their breakout star, and for sure he will have a really good tournament.
Ano ba, doon sa mga hindi masyado nakakalam, so we're now in the group stages. There are 12 groups. So anong format, Diego, para masundan ng ating mga fans dito sa Pilipinas?
So there are, as you said, all of those groups, and then the teams trying to break into the top 2 will get an automatic slot in the knockouts. But there will be 8 best third placers out of the 12 groups.
Okay.
So if you win one game, you are in a good position to get into one of those best third placers.
Okay.
If you win 2 games, you're pretty much automatically into the knockouts. One game gives you a really good chance. And again, that should give hope to the smaller countries. It wasn't like this in previous World Cups. But now, because of the expanded version, smaller countries, underdog countries have a chance.
Oh, wow. Maganda pala.
Well, how about the very good performance of Messi in their first game?
Oo nga, 3 goals.
3 goals.
Historic.
Historic, di ba?
Ika nga ng paring Alex Santos.
Historic. Do you think the team of France or even Messi himself
Argentina.
can sustain this?
Well, he's 38, so a lot of people were expecting at some point him to slow down. Somehow, he hasn't yet. 3 goals in the first day of his World Cup campaign, and to add 3 goals that were outstanding, especially the first and last goal. I think you can never count him out to sustain that type of success, because everyone thought that he wouldn't be as hungry, because again, he already won the World Cup. He doesn't have as much of a point to prove. But with the way he started this tournament, you can see there is still a lot of gas left in the tank. And I think Argentina can also go very deep into this tournament. We haven't had a back-to-back winner since 1962, and that was only the second time ever it happened. I think this is the best chance for it to happen once again.
Well,
sorry, biglang lumabas sa bibig ko, France. It's Argentina, si Messi.
Well, France is Mbappe, di ba? Si Mbappe ang...
No, because while talking, I was looking at this. Number 1 ang France, second ang Argentina.
All right. Well, Diego, we've seen dramatic upsets. We've seen unforgettable goals in the first few games of this World Cup. Ikaw, ano ang favorite moment mo so far in the tournament so far? In this...
It has to be when Cape Verde drew against Spain. Again, Cape Verde is such a tiny Caribbean nation, and you're up against one of the tournament favorites, one of the former winners. And if you look at the odds book, Spain are either 1 or 2 in the tournament favorites. So Cape Verde drew with one of the powerful nations. I think yung goalkeeper na man of the match is 40 years old. We know of athletes, once they reach that age, it's very, very tough to have high performance. He had a player of the game performance against Spain. And I saw something like his Instagram followers gained like 5 million overnight. That is the nature of the World Cup. No one knew who he was, and all of a sudden he is as famous as any other player.
Absolutely. Of course, we know that football is the biggest sport in the world. Played in so many countries.
And number 1 spectator sport.
And we're seeing now, itong, kung hindi po kayo fan ng football, you watch the World Cup and you will instantly become a fan of the game. Diego, maybe my final question here is, partner, unless you have one. Looking ahead, we have a few minutes here. Who are your favorites to lift the World Cup trophy this year, and what ultimately will separate the champion from the rest of the field? What do you think, Diego?
I think, for me, I'm really looking at England to get their second ever World Cup. First in 60 years, exactly 60 years. I think England have what it takes. I think they have the players. They are so stacked. Their bench is good enough to beat any team as well. But their starting 11 is just probably the best in the whole tournament. They have a German coach, which is not
unusual,
traditional. So this would be the first time a foreign coach wins a country a World Cup, if it happens. But for some reason, for me, I just think there's something there for England. Obviously, you have to look at France, Germany, Spain, Brazil as well. But for me, England yung favorites for 2026.
Aabangan natin itong
Yeah.
England na sinasabi ni Diego, partner. Diego, you know, it's been very, very it's been very impressive how you have explained the World Cup to us at sa ating mga fans. We will continue to bring you hopefully on the show para you can continue to update the many fans ng football. Maraming salamat sa iyong pagsali sa atin ngayong araw na ito. Thank you so much, Diego.
Thank you so much, Diego.
Thank you.
Mga kaibigan, Diego Cordero, football analyst and ika nga ay a commentator. Grabe ang knowledge ito. Lalim.
Oo.
You should be proud, Abak, ha? Pare, ang galing ng anak mo.
Oo, buti na lang. Ika nga sabi ko
Buti
sa
na
dati. Manak eh.
Yan.
Nanay.
Alright, mga kapatid. Yan po ang World Cup. Abangan niyo po lahat yan. Of course, ating pong ngayon papasok ang ating This or That, partner. Ang ating winner ng This or That. Kunin muna natin lahat ng mga choices ni Talula Prue. Tingnan natin, panoorin po natin itong video na to. Partner, meron ka bang sasabihin dyan tungkol sa This or That?
Recap lang natin, ha?
Hindi pa yata napapalabas yung video. Palabas muna natin.
Okay.
Yan.
Hi, this is Talula Prue, and this is my This or That. So the first question was fast runs or chill glide? And I would definitely say fast runs because as a ski racer, speed is the most important thing. My second question was snowfall or sunny slopes. And although I do love a good blizzard, I'd say that sunny slopes is my favorite weather to train in. The next question is hot chocolate or coffee fix. I don't really drink coffee that often, so I would have to say hot chocolate. And then malunggay or okra. I feel like I grew up eating okra more, so I would say that. And then the last question is snowblades or sneakers. And of course, I would have to say snowblades. Thank you!
Okay, there you go, ha. Ulitin ko po, ha. Yung mga kasagutan ni Talula Prue, ang una niyang sinabi ay fast run. Siyempre, siguro mabilis magtakbo tong babaeng to, ha. Sunny slopes, dahil siyempre, mas gusto niya yung nag-ski siya. Hot chocolate, ang kanyang mas gusto kaysa sa kape. Siyempre, wala naman yatang moringa leaves doon.
Baka, oh.
Kaya okra. Oh. And lastly, she prefers snowblades. At ang maswerteng winner ay si Ray Garvida San Gabriel. Okay, Ray, ipadala lang ang inyong contact details sa Facebook Messenger ng Power and Play at hintayin ang detalye kung paano nyo makukuha ang inyong panalo. Maraming salamat, M2 Veggie Drink.
Thank you so much. Yan po ang ating This or That. And of course, bago tayo magtapos, sa mga Joyride winners naman ay sila Mitch Ahero, Precious Tabernero, JP Nogueres, Sheila May Simbit at si Mark Cedric Pamilakan. Congratulations sa inyo lahat mula sa Joyride Top-Up Program.
Okay.
Partner, ingat sa Happy Father's Day, partner, sa'yo.
Happy Father's Day.
At sa lahat po ng mga ama, kayo po ang pinakadakila.
Tayo ang bida bukas.
Bawal ang laba. Happy Father's Day to everyone and we'll see you again next week. At tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang inay ko po.
Happy Sports Weekend sa inyo lahat.
More power
and more play.
Power and play na bago na. Pilipinas, tayo na.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo. Ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino.
Yan ang Pinoy.
Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulot, sumbe, sibay, lakay, amiga. Sama-samang pakita, ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Power and Play was brought to you by Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, love your journey. Photon, empowering the Filipino business. Joyride, ang inyong bagong kasundo. And N Plus Gold, tanda ng pagmamahal.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin